Well, the 2021 Wyoming American Legion State Baseball Tournament has not yet ceased to amaze. We had another great day of games live on mylocalradio.com, and now we dive headfirst into the 307 Baseball Recap Show. Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm Cullen Holt, and we are live in the Buckle Up for Life Wyoming studios. We've got a lot to recap and a lot to get ready for as we move into the semifinals tomorrow. So with that being said, and without further ado, let's jump right into the highlights. We'll start it off with the first game of the day. This was Casper and Sheridan. We've heard a lot of good things about the Casper offense. I know I've been talking about it pretty much all day long as the Oilers got out to an early lead, put up a 4 spot in the opening inning. There's Cole Douglas with an RBI single, Samson Wagner with a sacrifice there, Cooper Hack would add another one, and the Oilers got out to an early start, and you know that's dangerous with just how good this offense has been. 23 runs yesterday. They've scored so many runs every game throughout the season, and they would add even a couple more as we move into the bottom of the second as Wilcox brings in a run with that ball in play, and Grant Nipper would add his own RBI single later. So now a commanding 6-0 lead for Casper after 2 innings. Sheridan not quite done yet, however. In the top of the third, just a half inning later, down 6-0. They would start their comeback. And here comes Cody Kilpatrick. RBI single. That gets the ball rolling, pun intended. Kilpatrick scores on a wild pitch a little bit later. Then another run comes in with the bases loaded on a walk. So that sets up this play with Cale Hamrick. He puts the ball in. Couple runs come around to score. And you'll see it in just a few moments. But another run comes in on an interference call. Again, that's Hamrick who gets the play moving. 3 runs score on the play, and Sheridan ties it up at 6-all in the top of the third. So just a fun inning to see the way the Troopers battled right back, went blow for blow with the Casper offense until a half inning later. Go to the home half of the frame. Morgan Pickett brings in 2 runs with that single. Caden Wilcox adds an RBI single of his own. Casper right back in front. Samson Wagner got in on the fun with an RBI base knock as well. Casper would build their lead up to 10-6 in the bottom of the third as they shot right back at the Troopers, and they go on to win it 12-6 the final in the first game. That was the 1 p.m. start time. So Casper moves on. Sheridan's season comes to a close. They had such a great season. They continued to battle, playing tough team after tough team. They won on day 1, had to go to the loser's side of the bracket, and just ran into a very, very good Casper Oilers offense. Wilcox and Wagner each had 3 RBIs for the Oilers, and that offense is a well-oiled machine. Let's go to game number 2 now. This was the 4 p.m. start time. Evanston and Gillette. Another elimination game on the docket for today. This was a defensive battle. Not a whole lot of offensive action, but top of the second, Colson Cluck gets Gillette going. They would strike first. That single brings in a run. Evanston answers right back. Bottom of the second, Derek McDonald. Ball in play. Run crosses the plate. We are tied. 1 inning later, bottom of the third, run comes across on an error. Throw gets away from the third baseman, and Ryan Evanston is in front for the first time in this game. 2 innings later now, bottom of the 5th, Hank Allred comes in on the wild pitch, swing and miss, ball gets away from the catcher. And again, a defensive duel. I don't even think there were any earned runs in that game, but Evanston ekes out a victory 3-1. Great pitching performances. We're going to talk a little bit more about them later. Congratulations to Gillette on a great season in the Wyoming portion of their season. In fact, their campaign here in 2021 is going to continue as the hosts of the regional tournament. They're going to get an automatic bid to that event, so they are not quite done yet, but they did go out with a bang at the Wyoming State Tournament. Matt Newland, 6 innings pitched, just 4 hits, no earned runs, and 10 strikeouts in those 6 innings. I told you it was a pitcher's duel, and we're going to, again, touch on that just a little bit later as well. Third game of the day, under the lights, the host team in action against the favorites, the Cheyenne Sixers. This was the team that was expected to do well at this tournament against the Laramie Rangers, the team that has gotten hot as the host team. Pick it up in the top of the third. There's Dominic Lopez. Cheyenne going to work. Finally, they woke the offense up. They've overcome slow starts with no difficulty over the course of this tournament. Zach Kostopoulos brings in 2 runs with a double. Hayden Swain with a 3 RBI double. He clears the bases with an extra base hit. Julian Romero puts the ball in play. Another one comes across. That was all in the top of the third. They built a 7-0 lead. and then they would just continue to pile on as they shut out Laramie 16-0. Cheyenne, now the only team without a loss. Laramie not eliminated. That was not an elimination game. That was from the winner's bracket. So now we've got our 4 semifinal teams with Cheyenne, Laramie, Evanston, and Casper. 2 teams from the east, 2 teams from the west. They'll battle it out for a state championship over the next couple of days, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's bring it back now into the Buckle Up for Life Wyoming studios. Let you know what's going to happen here on the 307 Baseball Recap Show. We're going to have an interview coming up. Then we're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll take a look at the brackets. That's when we'll talk about the schedule for tomorrow. We'll preview the games for tomorrow as well. There are going to be some good ones, I can already tell you that. And how everything's going to play out, what the scenarios are for those semifinals. 3 teams with 1 loss and 1 team with no losses as well. Before we continue, though, let's check in on our friends from the Single A. That tournament wrapped up today. The Cubs of Cody took home the hardware. They did not lose a game all tournament. They beat Cheyenne today, so they didn't have to play again. And they are the champs of the Single A in Wyoming. Final score from that game, Cody 8, Cheyenne 2. So congratulations to the Cubs, taking care of business once again. So a lot still coming your way. Before we get there, though, we talked about that pitcher's duel in game number 2 between Evanston and Gillette. Newland obviously had a great game. You know who else had a really good game, though? Gus Allred. And he put up some pretty big numbers. Let's roll the tape for Gus Allred right now. He goes 7 innings, a complete game. He gives up just 3 hits, no earned runs, as Gillette scored 1, but it was not earned, and he struck out 8 in that performance. He has had such a great year for the Outlaws. He's going to the University of Jamestown in the fall. He'll play baseball there as well as he closes out his campaign with the Outlaws with a really, really big performance on the mound. He won't be able to pitch for the rest of the tournament. As there he is right now, Gus Allred joins us on the 307 Baseball Recap Show. And first of all, Gus, did that feel good today, that outing on the mound?
Oh, it felt amazing. There's nothing quite like it. That's probably as good as that's as good as I could have asked for an end of my pitching career with the Outlaws.
Yeah, and that lends the question. I mean, that was your last pitching appearance. Did that hit you before the game, or was it just I just got to go out there and have a job to do?
I had it in the back of my mind, but I knew I just had to go do a job today, and it worked out.
So what's that like then? You go out there, not only is that your last pitching appearance for the Outlaws before you go off to bigger and better things, but also you get the victory, you get the 1 run, and you're pitching to your brother Hank. I mean, does all that just come together for a great experience?
Oh, it's the best. Like I said, there's nothing quite like it. It was just the best feeling ever.
Let's talk about these Outlaws, huh? You guys dropped a tough one on day 1, lost by 7 runs. You have battled your way all the way back into the semifinals. What is it about this team that is keeping them going?
Oh, just grit. Just knowing that we're not going to lose. We're not here to lose. We're here to get through this whole thing. We want that state title. And everybody, especially today, we just had great attitudes and everybody was just hyped the whole time. It's the environment is just great in our dugout and from our fans too. It's just been awesome.
At the high school level, you're not a pitcher only, so you've been a part of this team. You've been active in these games since game 1. But then as a pitcher, how nice is it to have the team playing so well behind you?
Oh, it's great. Everybody just played amazing today, and it's so nice to be able to just trust every single person on that field and everyone in the dugout too. That environment was just great. Everyone was just pumped up. It was just fantastic today.
Gus, I know a lot of people are excited for that matchup tomorrow, so I'll let you get rested up, and then you guys can go against Cheyenne tomorrow.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Gus. Again, when we return to the Buckle Up for Life Wyoming studios, we're going to take a look at the brackets, the matchups for tomorrow. Elon Olive will join us from the Union broadcast booth out there in Laramie, and we'll get you set for another full day of action on a Thursday. Buckle Up for Life Wyoming. Everybody's got a reason to buckle up. What's yours? Mine is so that I can come and do these great shows for you, which will continue after this.
I'm Kendall Roberts with the Wyoming Seatbelt Coalition. Whether your car is a classic car or a new one, buckle up every time. Buckle up for life, Wyoming.
buckle up because there's been too many fatalities around our house where somebody would have survived if they'd been wearing their seatbelt.
I definitely wear my seatbelt to keep him safe.
I wear it just for safety.
I buckle up because my mom makes me.
I buckle up to set a good example for my kids and to make sure they stay safe.
Getting home safe to my family.
I buckle up because it keeps me safe.
Go Pokes, buckle up!
Buckle up for life, Wyoming.
Well, with the games concluding today, the semifinal matchups are set. Let's take a look at the brackets now. We'll start off by looking at the winner's bracket, how we got to tonight's 7 p.m. showdown between Cheyenne and Laramie. You can see it was an absolute battle. No easy path for any of these teams, and Cheyenne somehow got through it without a single loss. So now let's check in on the loser's bracket. You can see how those guys got there. Casper and Evanston both lost on day one. They battled their way all the way back to the semifinals. Those are the matchups. Casper versus Laramie at 1 on Thursday. Evanston versus Cheyenne at 4 on Thursday. So let's look at the updated bracket now. Here's how things will shake out. Casper Laramie, game 1, winner moves on to game 14, which will be on Friday at 1 p.m. Here's where things get interesting. The 4 p.m. matchup between Evanston and Cheyenne. The Sixers, they have already clinched a spot in a state championship game. So if Evanston were to win, they would go and play the winner of Casper Laramie at the 1 p.m. start time on Friday. Then the winner of that game would play Cheyenne, as they would automatically jump to the far right side of your screen. If Cheyenne takes care of Evanston tomorrow, then they go into that game 14. They only have to win once against the winner of Casper Laramie, and they would be the state champs. In that case, Casper or Laramie would have to beat Cheyenne twice to be the state champs. So, well, Elin, come on the 307 Baseball Recap Show. We got to talk about today. It was a fun one. Tons of good games, maybe a surprise or two, and maybe some expected results as well. Huh? We'll start with game 1. Your thoughts on that one?
Hats off to Sheridan. I mean, they were put in a tough spot. They go down 6-0. Their manager gets ejected. They answer with 6 straight, and then this Casper offense, when we get to when we're going to talk about the matchups tomorrow, I'll have more to say about it, but this Casper offense, it's prolific. I said it on the broadcast. Kind of reminds you of that Kansas City Chiefs offense from a few years ago, where their defense was pretty good but not great, but that offense can just strike so quick. That's the Casper Oilers this year.
Evanston, we just talked to Gus Allred earlier in the show. They lose on day 1. Just like Casper, they've come all the way back. They have,
and against a big opponent, an opponent that's kind of been their bugaboo for as long as they've been in Double-A. They've never beaten Gillette in Double-A before, postseason, regular season. I'm sure Gus mentioned it. The C team lost the C team state championship to Gillette. It's a big win. It's a big win. It's a historic day for the Outlaws, for sure.
Cheyenne, it feels like it's a kind of lining them up, knocking them down, huh?
Yeah, Cheyenne is just that team that doesn't make mistakes. They may start slow. We've talked about it. The previous 2 games, they didn't get anything going till the 4th. This inning, they waited till the 3rd, got it going, and it got going in a big way. 7 runs. When you put that up, it's going to become very, very difficult to beat them. So I think the key with Cheyenne is you got to play clean, because they are going to play clean.
We've seen Cheyenne play well all season long. No surprise there. They've gotten the recognition they deserve. But it feels like almost they've even taken the next step in this state tournament to be even that much cleaner.
Well, I mean, Ty Lane, he hasn't come out and said it, but I think it's no secret that Cheyenne Post 6 has World Series aspirations. And in order to do that, you got to take care of business here, and then you take care of business in Gillette next week at the regional. If they don't take care of business here, then those aspirations go down the tube. So I think that you're seeing a elevated play from Post 6 for that reason, knowing that, you know what, this isn't the end goal, this is a stepping stone. If a team like Evanston wins the state championship, that's a great thing. They're going to go to regionals, but I think that the state is the thing that they would hang their hat on. For Post 6. They've got higher aspirations. They're a team that's the class of Wyoming right now. It's going to take someone's perfect game to beat them, as we've seen throughout the tournament.
Cheyenne will be the first team from Wyoming to go to the American Legion World Series as well. Hey, Elon, I know you got another long day of calling games tomorrow, so I'll let you go, but thanks so much for checking in.
No problem. We'll see you in the morning, Cullen.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing Elon and the gang calling those games tomorrow. There will be two very good games and very important games in the semifinals as well. Again, game times 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. Why don't we just pull up the brackets once again so you can see for yourself the updated AA bracket and how it looks. Casper Laramie first, then Evanston Cheyenne. We'll have pregame for you on the Thursday starting at 12:40. We'll play this recap show to get you ready for the day. Then postgame after that game's over. Pregame for Evanston Cheyenne starts at 3:45. Postgame immediately following that one. As we kind of wrap everything up, we'll try to get interviews for you and really go in depth on those matchups. It's going to be a great day of baseball as we find out who will be playing for the state championship on Friday. I can't thank you guys enough for following along through the first 3 days. We still have 2 more days of this, which is the good news. I already can't wait to see how these games will play out and who's going to play for the state championship. It's going to be a ton of fun as we've got just 4 teams remaining. Let's take a look at the 307 Baseball Coaches and Media Poll and how things have shaked out as far as that goes. Cheyenne, the consensus #1, they're still in it. Sheridan at #2, they have been eliminated from state championship contention. Casper and Laramie at 3 and 4 are still in it. Gillette, they are out of Wyoming State Championship contention as well. So the 4 teams we have remaining are Cheyenne, Casper, Laramie, 1, 3, and 4, and the unranked Evanston Outlaws, who were the big story of the day, coming all the way back after losing their first game to get back into the semifinals, and they will play for a spot in the state championship tomorrow against the favorites, Cheyenne. So a lot to digest. Hopefully you get a good night's sleep tonight and get ready for those games tomorrow. I know all the athletes and coaches might have a little trouble sleeping, but hopefully they get rested up because it will be a fun day tomorrow. I'm Cullen Holt talking to you live from the Buckle Up for Life Wyoming studios. 2 games coming up on a Thursday. Enjoy them both, and we'll talk to you throughout the day.